Hi, Mr. Seligman here, and welcome to the Music Room. So today we're talking about meter, and you and I know what meter is. It's those weird fractions that aren't fractions. It's the thing that makes some musicians shrivel up because, math is actually involved in music. Meter is the recurring pattern of stresses that delineates the beat of a piece of music, notated by the time signature. Great, now that you know that, you're going to direct instruction that information straight into your students' minds so they can comprehend the wonders of meter, right? No, not at all. I know that we need to then break down this comprehension through primarily interaction. Just like language, music needs to be engaged with and understood at a core level before it is understood and comprehended at a cognitive level. The goal is to front-load that information as much as possible through games and activities so that when you eventually do give the denotative definition of meter, they'll be like, oh yeah, of course I know that. We've been doing that my whole elementary music career. Okay, so some tips for front-loading. 1. Start and always reinforce the idea of beat. 2. Implement dances and movement through the repertoire. 3. And it's a little more controversial, but use rhythmic syllables that denote meter. And I'll get to that later, don't worry. Before we get into the idea of metric stress, students need to understand the idea of beat. And again, not just cognitively, or even auditorily exclusively, but also kinesthetically. They need to move and feel it. And this can be done by playing ostinati during songs and singing at the same time, or perhaps doing hand movements while doing chants like, the Insumancy Spider. There are many ways for students to feel and do the beat. Now, as students get older, you can implement more complex ideas to reinforce the more complex ideas of meter. This is where dances get really handy. Look through your repertoire on music and find stuff that has music with dances where movements shift at the end of every measure or phrase. And the last thing about meter is using rhythmic syllables that help outline meter. Now, when teaching young ones music, there are many styles of rhythmic notation. For example, one that's very common is using found items, typically food or food. Applesauce, pizza, Dorita, shrimp. There's also the Kodai method. Ta, ta, ti, 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 ta, ta. There are also different kinds of numbering systems, such as the traditional American or the Eastman approach, which, if you have been given private lessons or were in ensembles, this is very typical. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the... But I'd stay away from those for elementary general music. There are other approaches that are easier to latch onto for younger students. Now, all of them have their place. They have their pros and their benefits. But I prefer using methods like Takadimi or the Gordon Forsyth approach. Ta, 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 ta-di, 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 Takadimi, ta-di, Takadimi, ta, ta, ta-di, di, ta. Using this method is cohesive. It also helps prepare them for the eventual numbering system, but for the purposes of this video, it helps reinforce meter. You don't need to tell students what accents or stresses are yet. You also don't need to tell them what time signatures are yet. However, by saying ta at the beginning of every measure, students can then feel where beat 1 is, the downbeat. So transitioning from 2/4 to 3/4 is simple. Ta is beat 1. Or from 4/4 to 6/8, ta is beat 1. Or from common time to 1/8, ta is beat 1. If you're going to do Stravinsky, which I hope you aren't. So there you have it. Constantly work on the beat, do activities, games, and especially dances, I highly recommend that help the student internalize and feel the metric pulse. And lastly, consider using rhythmic notation that helps outline the meter. By doing all of that, when you finally do teach the student the denotative definition of meter, it'll be simple. Thank you, everyone. And if you have any questions on anything in this video, feel free to contact me at jonathan.seligman@cvesd.org. It's listed down below. Also, if you are looking for more content for any VAPA videos, be sure to look at the other videos in this channel. But until next time, guys, take care.